What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Unqualified Critics. David here. I'll be sharing with you really the news that I think was crucial for this past week. Got a number of different topics that maybe weren't quite big enough for their own video, but want to get all this information out to you as efficiently as I can. First up, iiRcade announces games. So that's been the biggest criticism of this company since we've been talking about them, is people asking, well, where are the games? And of course, this is a multi-step process. It takes time to develop hardware, get things to market, but amidst all of that, you have to be working toward getting publishers signed up. And they were always saying games were coming, but it looks like they're delivering. They're announcing games now 1 to 2 times per week. This is not a complete list. This is really just the beginning, but so far we have 17 announced games. I'll put a complete list on screen. It's mostly retro games, but a handful of modern games thrown in as promised. Some standouts from this list, in my opinion: Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3, Riptide GP Renegade, which I had never played until pretty recently. It's actually pretty fun, and Super Burger Time. Now, I'm not familiar with all of these titles. In fact, there are a lot of them on here I've never heard of. So let me know in the comments what you think of this list so far. And I am excited to see more games drop in the future, so I'll keep you guys posted. Next up, the Star Wars sit-down cabinet is already marked down to $415 on Walmart.com, so you don't have to hunt for a sale on that one. You just go to the website and order it. It was originally listed for $499, but before it is even launched, it's already been price reduced. I think $415 is a really good price for everything you're getting. And of what you're getting, part of it is an LED light strip. I missed this the first time I made a community post on YouTube with the link to pre-order. I actually saw the light up imagery in the graphic, and I thought it was just some ambitious marketing guy trying to make it look cooler with Photoshop. But when you read the listing, it does confirm there's an LED light strip along the back of the cabinet. I'm normally not into the light up stuff, light up buttons, light up deck protectors. Other than the marquee, I think it's kind of a gimmick. But I could see this being pretty cool because it's going to be the kind of cabinet you're almost certainly going to have backed up to a wall. To have a glow behind the cabinet that surrounds it is pretty neat. And I think it might give a sit-down cabinet more presence, which ultimately that was the thing. Part of the thing in arcades with sit-down cabinets, they had so much presence. I mentioned that in my Daytona USA video. You'd walk into an arcade, you couldn't miss it. It's kind of an interesting way to replicate that at home. So I think the light up LED strip actually sounds pretty cool. I'm eager to see what it looks like in person. And I just want to note, a lot of people are talking about using this Star Wars sit-down concept as a foundation for racing games. I don't think that's really possible without making it very, very uncomfortable to play. As it stands, it looks like you're going to have to sit forward a little bit to grab the yoke, because the yoke is recessed a bit from the cabinet. It's designed for you to stand over it, and then you have your hands down in front of you and holding it. Now you're going to be reaching forward for the yoke. Well, once we get to a racing cabinet, that's going to be quite a bit worse, because you need pedals that will stick out from the front of the base of the arcade, and so that's setting you even farther back on the bench, and so therefore pulling even farther forward to grab the steering wheel. I don't think it'll work at all. Now, I think there are ways around that. Somebody posted on Reddit a possibility where you hollow out the bottom of the cabinet and you recess the pedals into the base of the cabinet, which could work really well. I hope Arcade 1UP though is paying attention to this, because if they give us racing cabinets that we can only play for a couple rounds without really screwing up our posture or just being uncomfortable, I think that's going to be a flop, because these cabinets are going to be pricey. It just is. If you want a good steering wheel, even without force feedback, we're talking about a pretty decent investment. I think 500 is probably the starting point. So it needs to be comfortable. I think it probably works for Star Wars, but when we get to real racing, that design needs to be reconsidered. Next up, TurboGrafx-16 Mini is finally confirmed for US release, and it's coming next week, May 22. You no longer have to import this from Japan. It's a lot cheaper to just order it from Amazon US. So make sure to pre-order this. I'll put a link below. I've had mine for about a month. I did pick it up from Amazon Japan. And it does have its flaws, as I noted in my review, but I have to say, after a month, this is by far, no contest, my favorite mini console. In my opinion, the games list blows away the Genesis and the NES, and only the SNES competes. or Super Nintendo for those of you that, I know some people hate when you say SNES. That might be a controversial opinion, but I don't care. I've been playing the hell out of these games, and a lot of them are games I didn't grow up with. I had a TurboGrafx when I was younger. I only had a handful of games, so there's no nostalgia goggles for many of these games, and they're just fantastic. Like Easebook, I never played Easebook. I didn't even understand the game when I first started playing it, but it's incredible. Lords of Thunder, I mean, there are just some really next level games here that you cannot play on any other platform. Should it have legendary acts? Yeah, it should. I'd also like to see Vigilante and Keith Courage. It's weird that it has English and Japanese versions of the aforementioned Easebook. And why does it have Snatcher without a translation for the English market? That's ridiculous. But again, in spite of all of that, this console is fire. Even if you've never played it, give us serious consideration. We watched some of the reviews on YouTube, but give us serious consideration to pre-ordering this. It's awesome. Can't recommend it more highly. Next up, Pac-Man 40th anniversary dropped to mixed reviews. And I have mixed feelings on this cabinet. I really do like the panel design. I even like the faux wood grain. Not everyone's into it. I think it looks pretty cool. Love that there's a light up marquee, but that marquee is recessed into the cabinet halfway through the depth of the cabinet. I'll put a picture up on the screen. It's a very awkward look. It has 2 speakers instead of 1, despite all the games being mono. I like that Burger Time only had 1 centered speaker, just like the original cabinet. The fact that they gave us 2 here seems like a weird step backward. And related to that, there are lots of reports that the audio volume level is way too loud, even on its lowest 1 out of 15 notch. And I questioned the games list. Adding Galaga, a 2-way joystick game, but not Dig Dug, a 4-way game. They're all from the same publisher. They have the rights to Dig Dug. They've done a mini arcade for it. There's really no reason Dig Dug wasn't on here unless they're planning to do a standalone, which I somehow doubt. So I'm going to pass on this cabinet and stick with my OG Pac-Man, even though that joystick is garbage, but I just can't justify a new Pac-Man cab at this time.
So now,
I'm out.
too. And for that reason alone, I'm out.
What do you guys think about the Pac-Man 40th though? Some people are really excited about it. I think they kind of flubbed on it. Next up, NBA Jam has officially shipped from Arcade1Up's production facilities, and it is headed for distribution. We should be seeing these pop up online any day now, maybe even in stores, although typically it's been shows up online for order first, a couple weeks later filters out to the stores. I love this price point of $400 for a 4-player cab with online play, customizer, light up marquee. They could have gotten greedy here and charged $500. I think $400 is absolutely the right price here. No need for a sale. For me at least, I think that's a good value out of the box. I do hope it comes with a properly placed marquee, and if you look at all the imagery of this cabinet, the marquee's in the right spot. But that was true for Pac-Man 40th too, and then last minute they moved it back, so I'm a little nervous to see what they did here, but I hope they didn't mess that up. I think of all the summer products, this one's the most likely for them to hit it out of the park. It has everything except for name brand controls, but I kind of forgive that for $400 and the fact that it is 4-player. So this is the first Arcade1Up cabinet really since Star Wars that I've been personally pretty excited for. So that's everything we have for now. Let me know below what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, and if you've been watching the channel, I hope I've earned your subscription. Please subscribe. It helps us out, keeps us going, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.